Hello everybody, welcome to another video. Today I have a video recommendation from a viewer that I'm going to share. If you would like to submit a request for me to do a video, feel free to do it in the comments below, or I'm also going to post a contact me form in the description if you would prefer to contact me that way. And if I feel like I can talk to what you want me to do a video about, I will happily do that for you. Today's video recommendation is something that I'm very familiar with and something that I feel like I can really share a lot about. It is about not knowing what to do with old friends and family and like relationships during the harder times, and just that feeling of not having a lot of people to talk to, feeling isolated. And this is something I can definitely relate to. And it's something I still, from time to time, will go through. Having old friends, old people that I used to be so close to, having to let go of those relationships has been one of the more confusing at first aspects of awakening. And it can be difficult, but I don't want to say it's been that hard for me, because it hasn't, because it's felt so in alignment with where I'm going that it just feels natural. And it just feels like a part of the process. And it can be challenging to be alone. But the letting go of the old friends, I mean, life really doesn't give you much of a choice when it comes to that. At least it hasn't for me. I remember when I was about 6 months into my kundalini awakening, my spiritual awakening, and things were really intense. I was having I was very, very symptomatic, tons of head pressure, lots of energy that, like in my last video, if you watched that one, definitely going through some intense purging. And my best friend from college, we were inseparable for years in college. He told me that he was having a wedding, he had just gotten married, and he really wanted me to come there and be a part of it. And I remember thinking, like, I really want to go. There was this part of me that was still so alive, that wanted to be there for him, that wanted to attend this wedding. But there was this deeper aspect to me that knew I was never going to go to the wedding. And he wanted me to go to the bachelor party and have all, that kind of party atmosphere of a bachelor party. And when we were inseparable in college, we did a lot of drinking and partying and, the types of things that a lot of people like to do in college in their early 20s. And that's kind of what the bachelor party was going to be. And it was going to be kind of just one of those really fun weddings. And there's nothing wrong with that. I've been to those before, and I loved them when they were right for me. But something in me knew I wouldn't be able to go to this. And I couldn't imagine even being there. Like, just the intensity of it, of all those old people coming back into my life, and how I was in such flux of leaving the old behind and coming into who I really was. And it would have just been so overwhelming and not helpful for where I was in the process. So I had to do the right thing for me. Even though I'm sure he wasn't very thrilled about my decision to not attend his wedding, and probably confused, I knew the right thing for me was to just really let go of those aspects of me that wanted to go to that wedding. And I never look back on that and think that I did the wrong thing. I know that that was the right thing for me in that time. And then from there, I kept becoming more and more isolated. And there was a time where I was living completely alone for months, and life would keep putting these temptations in front of me that my old self would really have clung to. But there was this deeper knowing in me that realized, no, I'm better off to be alone than to be with somebody just to feel comfortable. And I even have that today a lot. I have those things happen a lot today, and the lesson here is to really fall in love with yourself, and to know there's a difference, a very staggering difference between loneliness and aloneness. Loneliness is when we're seeking comfort and refuge in somebody. Loneliness is when we feel incomplete and we feel this lack feeling within us that makes us crave and cling and want someone else to come into our life to make us feel whole, whether that's a best friend or a romantic relationship. Aloneness is solitude. Aloneness is knowing that you need nothing from anybody, that you have everything, all the joys and the love and everything is emanating from within. You're filling your own cup, and any relationship from that perspective is just one of sharing. There's nothing that you're trying to, or that you need to take from another. And this comes with time. My God, it's something I'm still working on, and I'm sure it'll be a lifelong process. This doesn't happen overnight. But I do feel so much more just reassured in my own presence. I feel so much more, I love myself, and that maybe is the first time I've ever said that out loud in a video even, but that self-love, when you're able to generate it, it really helps you to not feel like you need anything more. And the way to get there is to feel those feelings of loneliness, to feel that isolation, and to feel desperate. I remember so many days feeling so desperate. And that desperation would cause me to reach for the wrong things, the wrong relationships that I knew intuitively were not suitable for me. But there was still that desperate part in me, that needy part in me, that codependent, unhealthy codependent part in me that was still so alive, that even though I could see it was false and that it wasn't the best for me, it still had so much power over my being. And I still had so much of that old pattern in me that I would still find myself going after these relationships in all forms that would only give a brief refuge and a brief relief from the loneliness, but ultimately they wouldn't end up serving me, and the pleasure I would gain from them would always swing to the other side and then bring more pain. So to wrap this video up, the last thing I want to say is, when we are able to just let go of wanting and needing and expectations, and we're able to just relax and see what life brings us, that's when you're going to meet the people that are going to serve you and enhance your connection to Source, to God. They're going to enhance your self-knowing. It's not the people that, you reach and cling for and have to go after in desperation. It's when you just relax and you let life bring you things and bring you circumstances and situations and jobs and just everything. That's when you meet the best people. And if life is bringing you nothing, if literally life is bringing you nothing, I've been there for so long, where I'm just sitting there saying, life, I would love you to bring me a companion, a best friend, a lover, anything but this, fucking loneliness. That's a sign that life is going to continue to probably bring you more of it, because you need more of it. And that's okay. If life is just bringing you space, then embrace it. Learn to surrender to the space, to the nothingness, to the aloneness, to the loneliness. When we surrender to loneliness, and we choose to be alone as if we created it, that's when it transforms into aloneness, into solitude. And that's the biggest blessing of loneliness, is through acceptance, through going inward, through learning to love ourselves by letting go of our core beliefs of I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy enough, or I'm not lovable. Through doing the work that loneliness forces us to do, that feeling of loneliness transforms into this beautiful solitude, this beautiful peace where we are just at ease. And then, instead of reaching and trying to extract and trying to take and trying to find a way out of the loneliness, we're able to just receive. We can receive what life brings us in the way of a beautiful relationship, space to just maybe meditate, to do yoga, beautiful friends, napping friends over there. Like, I didn't know I was a cat person. I had never liked cats before I moved out here to Montana. But life brought me these 3 amazing cats that always want to hang out, and they just are really chill and they're fun. So that's the beauty of life. You never know what it's going to bring you. So just relax. It's always going to feel like a gift. It's always bringing you what you need. And sometimes that's hard to understand, especially when what you need is like isolation and loneliness. But it's just a stage, it's just a phase. It will pass. And the sooner that you can accept it and sink into it and just let go of needing it to be different, the sooner you can just let go of all the old relationships that you know in your heart aren't serving you and aren't going to be a part of who you're becoming, then the sooner this phase will transform into something different. And I'm going through it right now, that transformation myself, so I felt like this was something I could really speak to. I really hope that this was helpful. Thank you for the recommendation, Mike. It was a really good idea for a video. I'm sure lots of people are going through this on the spiritual path. It's totally normal. While we are going through this phase of isolation and being alone, YouTube videos with spiritual fundamentals and understandings and really good spiritual books are really wonderful to help us understand more the path we're on, and it helps us feel more connected to everything. Also, if you can afford it, working with teachers, practitioners, energy healers, or if you have a best friend, maybe if you're lucky enough, your mom or your dad or someone you've met on the spiritual path that maybe you email with, just somebody to really talk to and to offer support and guidance is really helpful on this path. And I feel like, yes, we do need to be alone and learn to love ourselves and do all that, but we also need to know when we need support, and there are lots of different avenues to find that. So I hope that this helped. I hope that you guys have a tremendous day. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to connecting with you all next time. Namaste.